here I am on my Lanai. This is where I paint. So it's a Sunday morning and I'm going to paint some torn ribbons. I use muslin for that, and I just rip across about 1 inch wide. So I'm going to show you how I do it. I like this splattered look, and if I do it lightly it looks sort of vintage English chintzy looking, and then I can also do it a little more heavy and make it look like a Christmas pattern. So here I am again. I think I'm recording. I'm out on my Lanai, and this is not my usual place to record things. I hope it's going to work. I've mixed up the colors I usually use. I use a red and a green if I want something on the darker side, and then I also mixed up a lighter green. This is more of a bluish green and more of a pinky red, and they're mixed up from these two colors. Just acrylic paint. I put a squish of acrylic paint in the little cups, and then, I don't know, a tablespoon or so of water. And then all you need is some torn ribbon. Now this one, I'm going to make a Christmas red and green, so I'm going to do it stronger. And that's because I'm doing a little class and we're doing a Christmas thing, even though it's still only April. So the best brushes for splattering are the ones that have that kind of top on them, pointed top. The flat brushes and all that don't splatter as well. So first of all, I'm going to splatter on some red. And the way I do it is I just hit the brush like that. And I need a little more water on my brush. The brush should have water on, but not too much. And it really depends, of course, how you want it. If you want bigger drops, you use more water. See there. So that's the red done. I don't use wet cloth at all. It's dry. It's just ripped. It's just dry. And this was flour sack. So this one, I've just done the red. Oops. Just did that. I was going to do it again. Okay, here we go. Now I'm down to the green. And there's the green. And there, that's it. That's kind of it. Maybe make it a little more green in parts. I hope you can hear the birds. They're watching me out there somewhere. Okay, so that's done. Now I will hang that up. I've got a place where I hang them, and I'll show you later. Now here's one that is kind of a sample for the more English looking ones I do. That I call them sort of more like the garden look, English garden. So I keep that as a sort of a sample. I hang that up. I'm by a clothesline, so I hang that up. Okay, so I've torn a couple of pieces and I'll just show you the difference. So the first one I'm going to do, I'm going to change the water. Okay. Just rinsing off the brushes. Because it's acrylic paint, if it sets in the brush, it's all over. Okay, now I'm going to do this lighter color. See how I go with that. This one's going to be the more faded looking, perhaps English garden or cottage garden, chintzy looking. These are so handy for wrapping gifts. I like to use just white tissue when I do gifts and things to mail, because I can wrap them with all kinds of pretty ribbons that I've painted or not, and the white just shows them off and it looks elegant. Okay, so that's that. So that was the pink. Now I'm going to go with the green. And you can vary the amount, of course. Skip parts if you want. As it dries, it'll sort of flow a little bit. And after it's dry, I sometimes tea stain it, which I'll probably do. I think I did that on the sample I showed you. Okay, so I can just do a little dab here and there, just it's raining. Okay, so that's done. I usually just use these two colours. I never go for any other colours. I tried red and blue and all sorts of colours, and I don't like the result. Okay, so here's a bunch I've done already that have dried, so I'll just show you those. And then I either wrap them on an old spool like this, and all of the ribbons I do are just over a yard, a metre long. And then sometimes I make these little cards, bobbins, and the bobbin, I would just wrap it on like that. So I'll show you a few of those. Well, I'm here. So this is another. I've folded the ribbon up a bit, so it's not quite as thick, but it is 1 inch wide. This one I haven't folded yet. You see the difference? And I often put those little pins on the back. So I've got one more to show you, and that'll be it, because it's starting to rain on my lanai and I'm getting a little wet. Okay, here we go. Threads everywhere. Now this one I'm going to do, I'll put those aside, and I'm going to do the stronger colour on this, the stronger red on this one. I was smart today. I put an apron on. Oh my, because I've got white shorts on. Oh, you can imagine what that looked like. Of course, I love making a mess. It's part of my thing. And this is where I paint also. I'm painting a picture right now, watercolor of Notre Dame. Just a little memory because of all the troubles there. Because I like France. Okay, so that's that. So that's the darker red. Now I'll go for the, I don't know whether I did enough on that end. Now I'm going to go for the green, the darker green. Well, it's actually not darker, it's lighter, brighter, but it's thicker. It's more like a Christmas green in a way. And I'm making these blotches a little bit bigger by adding a little more water to them. There we go. So that's the last one there. Now when it dries, of course, it's going to be lighter. And it's also going to be tea stained afterwards. So I'm going to hang that up. I've got a wire coat hanger hanging on my clothesline here. So that's that. So once again, I'm going to show you how they look when they're done. And I've got the little basket with the goodies in there. This spool is old, but it's too small. I think it needs to be bigger to hold that ribbon. So anyway, I hope that was something you enjoyed, and a little look at my lanai. So I'm just going to pick the camera up and go once more. So it's raining, so I'm just doing another little quick look out here. The birds are around, but they hide under the leaves, and some of the birds out here are the color of the leaves, they're green, so it's hard to see them. Anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye.